welcome back to They Did What? Your source of the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, going to be our story titled, Am I the A-hole for not wanting to help raise my wife's affair child? And a shout out to Julian for sending me this story. And guys, this story is all about a guy married for 7 years, thought he had a good marriage going, and then of course, well, that was proven otherwise. Discovered that his wife was hooking up with her boss. And worse yet, she's pregnant. And upon getting caught, she actually thinks this dude is going to raise this child, even if it's not his. Well, obviously that's not happening, and this guy handles it accordingly. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, once again, aside from entertainment, as a reminder that once a cheater, always a cheater. And if there's any cheating, I don't care how great the marriage was prior to that, and I guess what, it wasn't that great, it's time to walk away, regardless of your long history with her, because this guy does struggle with the fact that he's known her for a long time, blah, blah, blah. And of course, at the end of the day, they're always going to get caught. And oh yeah, when they're that desperate, they actually think you're going to raise somebody else's kid. And of course, don't do that. So it starts off, says here, I, a 36-year-old male, have been dealing with my wife, a 34-year-old female, having a very short affair since nearly the end of last year. We've known each other for 20 years, together for almost 13 and married for 7 years. Well, if he's 36, they've been married for 7 and together for 13, that's a massive chunk of his life. But it doesn't mean he's got to stick around with her after she's done what she's done here. She's the only person I've been in a relationship with. What started as emotional cheating back in September with her boss turned physical by the end of October. The physical stuff went on for about a month or so, and then the end result in her losing her job. She got fired? Well, she could probably actually find a lawsuit in there, even though she's an a-hole too. So, emotional cheating and then the actual cheating. I'm sure there was more going on there. I knew about the feelings for each other, but didn't know about the physical stuff until she was on her second to last week at the job. Well, the second there was any kind of not physical stuff going on, which I question, that should have been the time to send her packing. The man she cheated with is married with 2 kids already. Ooh, he's a scumbag. While I was aware of what was going on, his wife was not. My wife recently realized she missed her period, took a test 2 days ago, and told me she's pregnant. Well, not my problem. If it's my kid, okay, fine, I'll help raise the baby. But not with you. But no matter what, I'm out of here. Probably about 4 weeks now. The other guy's wife is now aware of everything and is demanding a paternity test as soon as possible. I'll take it, but us other 3 are fairly confident I'm not the father. I'm extremely gutted. This entire ordeal has been the most stressful thing I've ever experienced in my life. That's understandable, man. I mean, I'm sorry it happened to you, and I'm sure there are lots of signs going on, but still, she's a piece of garbage. Per usual, with these situations, there was lying in deceit on her part. She never intended for any of it to happen, but it did. That's what they all say. So here we are. We've always sworn by never wanting kids, but she now has second thoughts after considering her age and the factors that I'll mention later. So what, she gets pregnant by her boss? That solves everything? Well, you didn't want a kid, but he gave me a kid, so now we got a kid. I'm a very huge crossroads because of some important factors that leave me morally unsure how to proceed. Do I cut my losses and leave, or stay and help raise another man's affair child? Smack! Snap out of it, brother. I know your life is turned upside down and all. No, you can't stay with a cheater. She'll do it again. And you certainly should be raising somebody else's baby, for heaven's sake. If that is in fact your kid, you got a duty, my friend, to take care of that kid. Doesn't mean you gotta be married to her. But if it turns out that that kid is not yours, obviously make sure you handle things accordingly. Not your problem. But remember, he said that she's his only relationship ever. That says a lot to me. Not a lot of experience. He took what he could get. And she knows that. Well, divorce. My wife has nothing to her name. No money and currently looking for a new job. We only have 1 car. We very much live paycheck to paycheck. No savings beside my 401k, which we did use to buy our house in 2021, so haven't really made a huge dent in our mortgage, and 401k has to be rebuilt. There's some equity in the house. If I decide I want to end this and divorce her, I don't really end up with much other than maybe my sanity, 3 cats, and dealing with feeling like I wasted so much of my life. I can't imagine at my age starting over. Dude, you're not that old. You said in the beginning you're 36. Unless you mixed up the numbers and you're really 63, you're 36. You got your whole life ahead of you. I'm 47, and I think I'll be around easily another 30, 40 years. Okay, it didn't work out. It's terrible, but you got the 3 cats. As a cat person, that's awesome. And you take the hit, cut your losses, and move on and rebuild. A man can rebuild. Don't stay in an awful situation because you're like, oh, I'm 36, I'm old now. If we were in a few hundred years ago when the life expectancy for your average Joe was in his 40s, then I can see where you're coming from here, but not now, amigo. I have no friends. I do have family that would help and support me in such a hard time. I can see myself eventually working on my debt problems and getting back on my feet. This is what I feel like I'm leaning towards. Well, good. Divorce her. Take the hit. You'll be all right. And again, notice she's his only relationship. He has no friends, he said. So it's easy for her to prey on this guy. She's probably thinking, he ain't going anywhere. This is why it's important, guys, to get yourself out there, get to know some people. Even if you're shy, even if you're an introvert, you wouldn't put all your money in one asset, would you? If you're an investor, you all know darn well don't put all your money in one company or one asset class. You do some diversification. Well, he's putting all his stock and happiness in one woman. That's crazy, You just spread it out. You got your friends, you got family you're close to, you got your hobbies, your interests, and her. That way your happiness is all, okay, he's got his 3 cats. I'm sure they bring him joy. I'm a cat person, but still. Here is what is making the decision difficult. If I leave, I don't feel like I can stick around very long. I would want out ASAP, but that effectively leaves her not being able to afford to live in her home, no transportation. Not your problem. She cheated on you, got pregnant with some other dude's kid probably. It's not your problem. She virtually has no family to help her. Part of why she wants to keep it is because she feels like this would potentially help her not feel alone in the world. She was raised by her grandma, mostly with her aunt and uncle, who were very close in age, to be older siblings essentially. Any real close family she had was her grandma, who passed away a few years ago. Aunt and uncle aren't really in the picture. Well, I'm sorry grandma died, and aunt and uncle maybe aren't in the picture because probably she's an asshole. I don't know. If I left this would leave my wife a single pregnant woman with pretty much no help aside from what the father is willing to help with. Hopefully a job soon, but no place to stay or mode of transportation. I know it's not my problem, but I can't help but feel awful and creating more problems by leaving. If I do this to my now pregnant wife and something bad happens to her, I feel partly responsible. Dude, then you need to get past your own shit. A lot of people's problems are that they don't get out of their own way. Understand that you may think, okay, she messed up this one time. Well, I guarantee you, this is who she's been all along. Trust me. I've been doing this a long time, and I'm older than you. I've been around the block. But brother, you can't stay with someone like this. And ultimately, she'll find a way. If that guy was her boss, he owns a business, he has some money, and certainly she'll be able to get it from him and be able to take care of herself and that kid. Guaranteed. Says here, staying. She very much wants me to stay. Well, of course she does. She wants me to help raise the child with her. Nope. They both agree they want to keep each other in the kid's life as well. The father doesn't want to leave his current family. He's made it clear he'll prefer to stay and help her. He prefer I'd stay and help her. Yeah, of course her affair partner prefers that you stay and help her. And that way he doesn't have to pay as much. Duh. The father is very much willing to help support as much as he can, offering to pay for medical stuff, childcare, etc. He is much more well off financially than we are. I would hope so if he owns his own business. My wife also doesn't want to have it and give it to him and his wife to raise. It's my wife's as much as the father's. We're still not entirely sure what his wife is going to do, but they're pretty religious, so I don't think they're going to consider divorce. In fact, his wife is afraid I'll leave, assuming she fears this will cause him to leave her. What a freaking mess. If I stay, I know I'll have to struggle with all the obvious things like never feeling fully like a father, trying not to see the kid as a constant reminder of how it came to be, and feeling like I'm second, or the kid eventually growing up more close to the actual father, which I get. Well, bro, you can't stay. You're raising somebody else's kid, the affair partner's child. This is a terrible situation. The only reason you're thinking about doing this is because you probably feel, whether you realize it or not, that you don't have much else in your life. That no friends, not much of a family. Your wife was it. And that's why you don't put all your stock in one person for your joy and happiness. You can't be with her. You're going to be seen as a joke, and she'll cheat on you again. It'll be a mess. You got to cut your losses, just like a bad investment, and move on. Even with the help of the father, this is a lot financially that I don't think we are prepared for. Not your problem. Let her deal with it. It just feels too much to ask for me. She thinks me staying would make me an admirable and more caring of a man for putting an innocent child first. That is pure manipulation. And what happens to nice guys that are admirable and caring and all that? Weren't you admirable and caring to her in your marriage, and this is how she treats you? Don't fall for it. Also, she believes that this could potentially bring us closer together as a couple. Yeah, because you guys were so close before, and this kid's going to do it? No, it's going to divide you more. She sees having a kid as motivation for her to make more of an effort in life and do better, including make more of an effort on our relationship. Why wasn't she doing that before? Why wasn't she doing that on multiple fronts before? This feels like a guilt trip and makes it even harder for me to decide what's the right thing to do. It is a guilt trip, and that's on purpose to make you confused and upset. I know I should be doing what's best for me, but I don't know if I can live with myself if that means it had an immense negative effect on her and the child. I don't know how to make this decision either way. Brother, she's doing this on purpose to mind F you, okay? And it's not your problem. She's going to be fine. She's a big girl. She can figure it out. She'll get money from this guy. He'll have to help raise the kid because he ain't your kid, obviously, and they'll find a way and you can move on. Don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Now, a little updates here. He says here, I'm fully aware how pathetic thinking about staying is. So he's getting a lot of crap from the comment section. I appreciate the kind words and advice some of you are giving me. I think some of the other commenters don't understand what it's like to know someone for this long. It's hard to just step away from 20 years of total friendship and marriage. Well, you know what? A lot of people don't get that. Okay, fine. I can understand where you're coming from. She's a massive part of your life, and a lot of people don't have that. But what they do get and you don't get is you can't stay with someone like this. Obviously, she didn't care that much if she did this to you, and I don't want to hear about her own little personal crisis. Don't fall for it. You know she's manipulating. You know she's messing with you. You can't stay. Otherwise, you continue on with this and raise somebody else's kid. What happens to you? At that point, then, nobody's going to feel bad for you. And don't buy into that crap. You're such a caring man and admirable because you'd stay. No. He says, to answer a couple of common questions, paternity. I'll be taking the test as soon as possible. I believe at 8 weeks testing like that, it can be done. If it is mine, then obviously I'll need to step up and raise the child. I'll fully accept responsibility. If I'm not the father, then moving on is from what clearly looking like the best option for me. Yeah, dude, if it's your kid, 100% your kid, you're damn right you gotta take care of that kid. That means you gotta be married to her, but obviously take care of that kid as best way you can. But obviously it's not your kid. He said, the procedure. She was contemplating the procedure. She's pro-choice. I even offered to give her a child if she wants one so badly, but for some effed up reason, thinks that this is pointless because she's already pregnant, and by the time that we'd be in place to have a kid, she'd be too high risk. Are you telling me that, go have the procedure, which, well, I'm not going to get into, and then you're going to get her pregnant so she can have a kid and stay with her after everything she's done to you? Smack! I'm sure I should have smacked him before. She ultimately feels like she couldn't go through with the procedure. Based on our state laws, she's extremely close to being too late to legally have one now. Well, I'm not going to get into that subject. Suing her job. The biological father owns the business with the wife. Smaller local store, so there's not much to go after, and she doesn't want to affect the business badly in any way, from what I understand. She really enjoyed her job and the other people she worked with. Really? So she wants to sue the guy, even though she actively participated in the frolicking? Come on here. If anybody should be suing that guy in that business, it's this dude here. Now those updates. He says here, I didn't expect this post to get as much attention as it did. Dude, if you're having a post about raising somebody else's kid, you bet your butt it's going to get a lot of attention over here. Some of the rude comments are pretty harsh, but I get it. I really appreciate some of the kind words that people sent me. Well, remember, man, not everybody that's being tough on you is trying to be harmful. They're trying to knock some sense into you, I don't ever want to harm anybody, but guys are thick-headed. We all need a verbal smack upside the head every now and again for reality. I've already got a consultation with a divorce lawyer set for Tuesday. Good, bro. Now you're thinking. Remember, guys, his whole world's turned upside down. And when your world's turns upside down, you're not going to think clearly, and you're going to, as he's been doing before. I've broken the news to my wife that after the paternity test shows that it's clearly not mine, I want to move forward with getting a divorce and separating as amicable as possible. Amicable as possible. When she realizes you ain't coming back, that's when the harpy claws and fangs are coming out. Be prepared. I can't keep going on with this and clearly need to respect myself more. Good, bro. Now you've calm down. You're thinking reality. Good job. See? There's hope for you. I know there's a bunch of comments for updates and stuff, so here's where things are at right now. I don't plan on any updates after this, maybe in a year or so. Finally official, that is, 100% is not my kid. Good, man, you're free. A legally accepted paternity test was like $1,600, and that's not easy money for either of us to get, but I found out a way to get paid. $1,600, huh? Well, you know what? That's the best money you ever spent. The test results came in Friday. Since the last update, we're still living together, and that's the plan until she can get on her feet. Dude, she's going to drag that out as long as possible. She's been trying to find work. Wife of the baby daddy is also seeking divorce, and it looks like it's going to be messy for how hard she wants to hit him financially. You know what? I don't blame the wife. He's already got his own apartment, but I'm not really sure what's happening between him and my wife. Hey, she can go live with him. But something tells me, now that she's pregnant with his kid, he ain't going to be interested in having her around. Me and the wife have since pretty much split up the house and are essentially roommates. She swears they aren't like a couple right now, but it still feels like I'm watching myself get replaced in real time. I don't really have people or friends to hang out with, so it's getting difficult being on my own so much. I know it's tough, bro, but you're going to be okay. Take it one day at a time. Still having one car between us is becoming a challenge. I just really hope I'm not going to get stuck. When it comes to moving and selling the house, our pets are going to be a huge problem to solve for various reasons that I'm not going to delve into. Yeah, definitely. You got 3 adorable cats, and as a cat person, I would imagine not having them or splitting them up, but I'm not in that situation now, am I? But you'll figure it out, If you got a car, maybe I don't know. No, I was thinking, can you sell it and then get a couple more? But you're never going to get anything close to the value you paid for or the usage of it, depending on the mileage. But you got to figure it out. But she can get a freaking job. But you got to get out of there, man. And I encourage you to go someplace and start talking to people, make new friends. At this point, we need to figure out our separating assets, debt, and stuff in the house. I like to figure this out before we start the divorce stuff to make it as smooth as possible. I'm just glad I have the paperwork now that can legally remove my responsibility for the child and child support. It sucks that there's a whole legal process and court process for that after the child's born, so this is all so far from being over. I appreciate all the kind words people have messaged me and helped to realize what kind of person I am. Like I said, maybe in a year I'll do follow-up, but this is a really tough journey and I hope I can make it the most of starting over. Brother, you're going to be okay, but you got to take it one day at a time, and this is hard. And it's unfortunate that you don't have any friends or real family to lean on, and probably Reddit is your therapy. But bro, listen to your lawyer, take the hit, and you're going to take one and move on. And I'd fight for those cats. She's got nothing. She's got to deal with that baby of hers. Let alone, you take care of those cats and find a new place. Somehow, some way, you'll make it work. If you need to live dirt cheap in a studio apartment with those 3 cats crawling all over you, fine. Find a way. You're a man. You got it in you. And embrace the family that you have. They can help you out as much as possible. Live dirt cheap. Find a way, and get out of there. And do not. Even if it's so difficult, they think it's easier just to stay with her, don't do it. It's a big mistake. And don't feel, and you believe me, she's going to try last-ditch efforts to get you back to waterworks, the drama. Don't fall for that either, because she's desperate too. Let her figure it out, okay? And then going forward, man, be on your own for a while. Get out there, start talking to people, make some friends. You'll be a lot happier. And don't put all your happiness in one never put all your happiness in one person. Just like investing, you diversify. You have your hobbies, you have your interests, you have your friends, you got your family, and a good girlfriend, hopefully. And that way it's coming from all different areas, instead, because these people that just have one person in their life and they depend on them for all their happiness is crazy. You gotta have the happiness and joy from within, and can get that from other people and stuff like that. And other than that, man, one day at a time, and you're going to be all right. So, guys, as I said in the beginning, perfect example. You don't take back a cheater. And look at her actually assuming this guy is going to raise this, because it shows what she thinks of him, really. And at the end of the day, kick him to the curb and move on. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Got a storm coming in, as you can probably hear the rain and see it getting darker here, so I got to head back to the house. We're in spring now, and here comes the rain. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.